My name is Rick Petherbridge, and I'm here to talk tennis. And today we're going to focus on the women's draw of the Australian Open. And I'm going to start off by picking my favorites. And of course, this is always a hard thing to do with the women because, let's be honest, they've been pretty unpredictable. But here I go. I'm picking my three favorites for the women in the Australian Open. So my first favorite is Ash Barty. She is the #1 ranked woman player, right? She won Wimbledon last year, and then in 2019 she won Roland Garros. She also has won a warm-up tournament, I believe 2 weeks ago in Melbourne. So she's playing well right now. But there is, as with all the women, there's always a but, right? A however, and that is that Ash Barty has a history where she doesn't play her best tennis in Australia. And this is something that we've seen before in the past, right? Where players feel extra pressure when they're playing in their home country. And they feel so much pressure to win. And of course, with Ash Barty, it's been so long since an Australian woman won the Australian Open. I think that places even additional pressure on her. So, she's going to have to overcome that. And we've seen, a lot of situations where, favorites have sort of wilted a little bit under that pressure. Let me be specific. Naomi Osaka was supposed to win the Olympics in Tokyo, right? And she was, led the Japanese contingent out on the first day, and of course, didn't come through. And we've also seen in tennis a number of other players that have just really struggled. So they've been able to win Grand Slams in outside countries, but they haven't been able to win their home Grand Slam. So this will be a big test for Barty. And it'll be interesting to see if she can overcome sort of that extra pressure that she puts on herself and play her best tennis. And it's hard to do. So, we'll see. Do we get the best Ash Barty, or do we get someone who's a little tight, right? Playing just a little tentatively because she's feeling that added pressure to win at home. Now, my second favorite pick is Naomi Osaka. And of course, she won the Australian Open last year and has played very well in the past in Australia. But again, as it seems like every woman player, there's a but or there's a however. And of course, Osaka has this whole history now, right? Where she has admitted that she has some mental health issues that she's working on. She, at some point last year decided she was going to talk to the press, and that, press conferences were really mentally difficult for her. And of course, she just didn't play up to her ability at the Tokyo Olympics, which was, a big, big deal for her. So it'll be interesting to see, do we get, the Naomi Osaka, who's won 4 Grand Slams over the last 4 years and actually been sort of the most consistent and dominant woman player over the last 4 years on the women's tour? Or do we get the Naomi Osaka who's struggling with mental health issues and not able to play up to her ability level? All right, so that brings us to my third favorite, right? And by the way, when I was choosing favorites, I just sort of said, I'm only going to put players that have won Grand Slams in the past in my favorite group. So my third favorite is Muguruza. She's the third-ranked player in the world for the WTA. She's won a couple of Grand Slams in the past. She has the ability to play really well on hard court. But here comes the but, or the however, because every woman player in the world has this. And that is that she's had some injuries recently. She hasn't played her best tennis. And her Grand Slam victories were, a while ago, right? So she won Wimbledon in 2017, but hasn't won anything since then. So very talented player, but can she bring her best tennis? And we'll just have to see. All right, so those are my three favorite player picks, with Ash Barty being my first choice to win the Australian Open.